Welcome to another tutorial. My name is Atenas and this is Mode Bespoke. Today we're going to be working on the Jacqueline scarf, so let's get started. So here is the scarf we're going to be crocheting today. I know it looks a little bit complex, but it's actually quite easy to make. And we're going to use a 2-row repeat for this. Now this scarf is the matching scarf to the mittens that we made last week. So if you haven't watched that tutorial, I'm going to link it up here. So go check that out. For this scarf, you're going to need 2 skeins of this yarn. So now, if you're going to be crocheting the mittens and the scarf, you're going to need a total of 3 of these. So here is some information on the yarn while I tell you about it. So you're going to use a full skein and then a little part of a second skein to make the mittens. The rest of that skein, plus 1 more, is what you're going to need for the scarf. So that's why if you're going to make both of them, you just need a total of 3. If you're going to make just the mittens, you need 2. If you're going to make just the scarf, you're going to need 2. So here it is. I got this one. You can find it at any of the yarn stores here in the US. I got this one, I think, at Joann, but you can also get this at Walmart, so I've seen it there too. You're going to use a few of these, and you're also going to need a 5mm Tunisian hook. And it needs to be a Tunisian crochet hook because we have to fit all of these stitches on our hook. So make sure it's a 5mm Tunisian hook. So for this, you're going to need to know how to crochet the knit stitch, which is what we used here. We're going to use for the honeycomb part, it's going to be the Tunisian simple stitch, the Tunisian purl, and then this little raised part, this is just double crochet. So a regular double crochet. So let's get started with this. We're going to need to start with a slip knot, and then we're going to chain 34. Now, I didn't tell you the measurements on this scarf, but it is 52 inches long, so 132 centimeters by 6.5 inches wide, and that's 16.5 centimeters, so 16.5. So back to here. So you're going to chain 34. So just a yarn over, pull through for 1, yarn over, pull through for 2, 3, 4, 5, and just keep going until you have 34. Once you have your chain, we're going to begin with our foundation row. Now, the foundation row, we're going to begin this on the second stitch from your hook. So you're going to insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over, and pull up a loop. And that's it. You're going to do this in every one of the stitches of our chain. So I'm going to continue to pull one of these up, and I'll see you here in just a moment. Once you've cast on all of your stitches, you work a return pass, and this is going to be a regular return pass, and it's a regular return pass throughout the entire project. So for this return pass, you just yarn over, pull through 1 loop, and then we're going to yarn over and pull through 2 in the remaining loops. So yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and just continue until you're left with just 1 loop on your hook. All right, once you've completed your return pass, your foundation row is ready. And now we're going to start the first row of our 2-row repeat. So we have a 2-row repeat because we're switching in the section where we have the honeycomb stitch. That's the only part that's changing. So all of this center part and all of this end part is going to be the same in every row. These two are going to be the only sections that are going to be different. So to start that first row, let me zoom in again. We're going to begin with 5 knit stitches. So you go into the first stitch right here. We're going to go with 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we've cast on 5 knit stitches, and then we're going to work a double crochet. So the double crochet is going to be different in the first row only. From the second row on, it's going to be the same. But for this first row, you're going to yarn over like you would with a regular double crochet. You're going to insert your hook into the stitch, so just like you would a knit stitch. Just go through, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then you close the stitch with a yarn over and pull through 2 loops. And that was our double crochet. Next we're going to knit, so knit 1 and then double crochet. So yarn over, insert our hook into the stitch, pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through 2. Now we get to the honeycomb section. So the honeycomb section is going to be 7 stitches. So we're going to begin with a purl stitch. So we purl 1 and then knit, so that's stitch 2, purl for stitch 3, knit, stitch 4, purl for 5, knit for 6, and then purl on 7. And then we're going to follow that up with a double crochet. So yarn over, insert our hook into the stitch, yarn over and pull through 2. And then knit 1, double crochet in the next one. And then we're going to have another honeycomb set. So we begin with the purl and then knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, and purl here on this last one. And then we're going to do a double crochet, follow that with a knit stitch, and then double crochet. So these last 5 stitches we just have to knit stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And once you've cast on, you complete a return pass. So yarn over, pull through 1, and then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over 2, yarn over 2, until you're left with just 1 loop on your hook. Alright, so once you've done that, we're ready for our second row in our 2-row repeat. So we're going to begin with the 5 knit stitches. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to work a double crochet. Now, the double crochet is going to be the same from here on out. So in order to get it to pop like this, so I don't know if you can see it here from the angle, but it really pops out a bit. So to get it to pop, you're going to do your yarn over. You're going to insert your hook behind the knot. So as you can see, the previous row, it made that double crochet kind of pop up a bit and it kind of looks a little like a knot. That's where you're going to insert your hook. So work the hook into that knot right there. You're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, and then you just yarn over, pull through 2. Sorry if you can hear a fork, it's my little one. She's sitting behind me eating. Okay, the next one is a knit stitch. And then we have another double crochet. Remember to stitch into the knot. So yarn over and go into the stitch. And then yarn over here and close the stitch. Okay, and now we're at the honeycomb stitch. So the honeycomb stitch consists of alternating purl and Tunisian simple stitch. So in that first row we did a knit stitch, and that's only to create a nice little base. But from here on out, in all of your repetitions, you're going to work purl stitch and Tunisian simple stitch. You don't do a knit stitch at all in this honeycomb section. So let's take a look here at our work. So as you can see, the very first stitch in the honeycomb section, we start with one that has this little knot. That's a purl stitch. So if you worked a purl stitch, in that stitch you're going to work a Tunisian simple stitch. So you're just going to insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over, and pull up a loop. And you're going to do this in all of the purls for the rest of the scarf. Now in the next stitch, so this long one was a knit stitch, so here we're going to work a purl stitch. And then in the next stitch you work a Tunisian simple stitch, and then right here we're going to purl, and then simple stitch, purl, and simple stitch. Then we get to the double crochet. So double crochet, and then we knit in the next stitch, double crochet, and then we get to the second honeycomb section. So here our first stitch was a purl, so we begin with a Tunisian simple stitch, purl in the next one, and simple stitch. There you go, I have my purl, and then simple stitch, and purl, and the last one is a simple stitch. There we go. Okay, and now we're at the knit again, not the knit, the double crochets. So we double crochet in the first one, there you go, but I crocheted that too tightly. All right, close the stitch. We're going to work a knit stitch in the next one, and then our second double crochet. So working into that little knot stitch becomes a lot easier once you start working on that third row and on. It's just the very first 2 rows as you're trying to get it all set up. But after that, it gets really easy. All right, so we get to the last 5 stitches of the row, and these are all knit stitches. There we go. Once you've cast everything on, you complete a return pass. And that's it. Those are the 2 rows you're going to repeat over and over again. Just remember that when you get to the honeycomb stitch, you're going to work the purl stitch and a Tunisian simple stitch. So don't work a knit stitch. We only worked a knit stitch on that first row just to get a nice little foundation going. But yep, if you have any questions on that, just be sure to leave it down in the comment section below. So I'll finish this real quick, and we're going to crochet, so for the length of the scarf, you're going to crochet a total of 52 inches or 132 centimeters. And that will, or at least it should, leave you with enough yarn to make fringe on your scarf, if you choose to. That's optional. So you won't see the fringe on the written pattern. So now once you've completed all 52 inches of your scarf, we have to work a bind off. Now, a bind off is going to close all of these large open stitching, and we're just going to work a single crochet, and it's going to be a single crochet using the entire stitch, so both loops. So what you're going to do, you're just going to insert your hook into the stitch, and you're going to have both of those threads on here. You're going to yarn over, pull up a loop. You're going to have 2 loops on your hook. Now you just single crochet, so you yarn over and pull through both loops, and there you go. You're going to do the same in the next stitch, and just single crochet, and then in the next one, single crochet. So you're just going to work a single crochet in every one of the stitches for the bind off. Once you worked a few stitches, you'll notice that the top part of the stitching has now closed up a bit. So instead of it being open stitching like this, you're going to have nice even stitches. So this part will match the bottom part of your scarf. Alright, so for those of you that want to add fringe to the bottom part of your scarf, like I said, this is optional, so you don't have to do it. You're just going to have to grab some of your yarn. So here, let me grab one of these just to show you what to do. And you're going to want to cut your yarn in twice the length that you want your fringe to be. So if you want it to be about that long, measure out how far out from the scarf you want it to go, and then double it. So like that. So this is how long a piece of yarn we need. Each of these has 5 threads in them. So it's 5 long threads, and I'll show you what I mean. So once you have the length that you want, you're just going to fold the top over here. So that's going to be 2. Fold it again. So now see we have 3, 4, and then 5. So you're going to want 5 threads like that. So what you're going to do at the end, once you have all of your threads, you're going to cut up all of these loops. So just grab your scissors and just cut the top of the loops up here. And you're going to do the same down here so that both sides are cut. Alright, so you're going to grab your threads and you're going to grab your scarf, so the bottom of the scarf. Now on each side I did 7 knots, so there's 7 of these. And you're going to grab your hook and just insert it about where you want the little knot to be. So I want it to be around here. Grab your yarn and you're going to loop close to one of the ends and pull all of these loops through the scarf. And pull them all the way through. Now you just line up your yarn so that it's about the same length, and you're going to knot here at the bottom. Go. And you just pull through. And that's it. Now once you're done with all of them, just make sure that you pull up on everything and then cut it the same length. You can find the written pattern for the scarf and the mittens on my website, and I'm going to leave a link in the description box below. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button. I post videos every week. If you want to see more of my work, you can check out my Instagram. I'll leave all the information on the screen and in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and share if you've enjoyed this video tutorial. I'll see you again in the next one.